Good morning. It's Friday, 13th of May 2016. I am Darsha Ponnambalam and you are listening Athavan News. Let's have a look at the highlights of today's newspapers. The main highlight of today's Daily Mirror says, Basil arrested and bailed. Former Economic Development Minister Pushpa Rajapaksas, who was arrested by the Financial Crime Investigation Division yesterday in connection with an alleged irregularity in purchasing a land in Mathura, was released on bail by the Mathura magistrate hours later. The FCID summoned Mr. Rajapaksa yesterday morning to record a statement over the alleged purchase of 1.5 acres of land in Mathura. He was arrested by the FCID on charges of money laundering. The FCID produced the former minister before the Mathura magistrate courts, where Chief Magistrate Uresa De Silva ordered Mr. Rajapaksa to be released on a hash bail of 50,000 rupees with 3 sureties of 1 million each. The another highlight says, Basil's arrest was pre-planned. The National Freedom Front said yesterday that FCID arrest of former Minister Basil Rajapaksa was a planned action of the government and the JVP, which supported it indirectly. NFF leader and MP Vimal Viravansa said in a statement that the unofficial website of the JVP carried a news item beforehand saying that a member of the Rajapaksa family was to be arrested. Mr. Viravansa said the arrest was made to divert the people's mounting protest against the government because of its anti-people actions. The highlight in the middle says, no rush to repeal PTA. The government will not rush into repealing the Prevention of Terrorism Act, as such a decision will have to be made only after a careful study and discussion with the relevant stakeholders, including the military. State Minister of Defence Ruwan Wijewardena said yesterday. The highlight at the bottom says, 2 Sri Lankans on verge of creating history. The 2 Sri Lankans, Jayanthi Kurudumbala and Johan Piris, who are trekking up Mount Everest, said that they had reached the final stage of their mission. The duo will create history as the first Sri Lankans to make it to the top of the world's highest mountain. There is a highlight says, joint opposition seeks clarification. In response to statements by government leaders that there were newly found debt liabilities amounting to 1.5 million rupees, the joint opposition has urged the Finance Ministry Secretary to clarify whether the information furnished in the Secretary's report last year was accurate and complete. With that story, let's move to the highlights on Ceylon today. The highlight at the top says, Basil arrested and bailed. Former Minister of Economic Development Basil Rajapaksa, who was arrested by the Financial Crimes Investigation Division yesterday, was released on bail by Mathura Magistrate Uresa De Silva after being produced at the Mathura Magistrate Court. Another highlight says, Ravi warns Lankans in Panama Papers. Prove innocence or face disgrace. Minister of Finance Ravi says a period of 2 weeks would be given to Sri Lankans whose names have been listed in the Panama Papers scandal to prove they are innocent of any wrongdoing. The minister said during that time period, if those named in the apparent scandal fail to plead innocence, all details would be placed before the public and the FCID will be asked to prop all the offshore deposits made by them as exposed in the Panama Papers. There's a highlight says, Basil's wife and daughter before Precifact today. Former Minister of Economic Development Basil Rajapaksa's wife Pushpa Rajapaksas has been asked to present herself before the Special Presidential Commission of Inquiry at 10 am today to submit a statement relating to a massive loss sustained by the government by the unauthorized and unpaid for use of Sri Lanka Air Force aircraft for private travel. A commission spokesman told Ceylon today, Basil Rajapaksa's daughter Thayani Rajapaksa too had been summoned by Precifact for an inquiry at 1 pm in connection with the same issue. The highlight in the middle says, President attends anti-corruption summit in London. President Maithripala Sirisena participated yesterday in the International Convention on Anti-Corruption in London, chaired by British Prime Minister David Cameron. The President made a short address at the convention at yesterday's session, which were being attended by heads of state. The President was also a guest at the breakfast hosted by British Prime Minister David Cameron for all heads of state, country delegates and heads of international organizations who were attending the convention. Finally, I am taking a quick look at the highlights on daily news. SL on horse for GSP+. Country not bound by 58-point checklist to qualify for facility. Sri Lanka is moving in the right direction in terms of the GSP+, and once the preparatory work is done, it could soon apply for it. Ambassador and head of delegation of the European Union to Sri Lanka and Maldives, David Daly said. He said, the European Union is not working on a 58-point checklist to grant GSP Plus to Sri Lanka. The 58 points touch on wider human rights and good governance, and while some of them are important for the GSP Plus, others are not. Daly said at an event to unveil human rights projects the EU is currently funding in Sri Lanka at the Taj Samudra yesterday. Another highlight says, former Narayanpita Crimes OIC to make confession before magistrate. Former Narayanpita Crimes OIC Sumit Champika Pereira, arrested for allegedly covering up evidence in connection with the murder of Wasim Tajuddin yesterday, informed court through his lawyer that he is ready to make a confession before the magistrate over the incident. There is a highlight says, CID raids Sajin's Boralle office. The Criminal Investigation Department raided an office of UPFA former district parliamentarian Sajin Divas Kunavarthana in Boralle. The raid following an order issued by the 4th Magistrates Court. That's all for today's newspaper highlights, and join us tomorrow too. Thank you.